Let's just talk a little bit about places being out of bounds. From when I was a kid, out of bounds. Who complies with those sort of rules? Geeks and nerds. Why do they comply with those rules?
Because somebody told them to.
And when somebody tells them to do something, they do it. Like Simple Simon said. Put your hands on your head, they do it. Put your fingers up your arse, they do it. They don't ask questions, they just do it. As to why most people are like that, then obviously we look at the conditioning from kindergarten to leaving university or getting your first job or whatever. It's just one long school of conditioning. Condition people into being subservient and obeying. Now, because I've always been a questioning sort, I've always said to myself, well, why is that out of bounds? For instance, this is out of bounds here because there's lots of these trees which fall down and it's dangerous. Now, it is dangerous, potentially, to the fool. These trees fall down 99% of the time in strong winds. So if you're walking in one of these woods when these particular trees have a propensity to snap and uproot and blow over because they're very brittle, then you're dicing with danger, aren't you? And so it's kind of like, best not walk in those woods on a real windy day. What are the reasons? Just because someone says that it's dangerous. So what stage do we give over our own common sense to the government? Initially, from the get-go, it seems we don't have, they don't think we have any initiative to gauge for ourselves when things are dangerous. And I can see why, because most people are dumb as fuck, aren't they? And so I say to myself, well, those rules are for the dumb fucks, they're not for me. And when I go up to these national parks, these beautiful national parks, and there's certain regions which are out of bounds, it's so the area can be given to natural growth and, you know, all different sorts of animals and insects. I'm like, great, yeah, stop those dumb fucks from going in places like that. They don't appreciate it. But give some people the option. You know, you could say, yeah, this is out of bounds, unless you are, you know, an amateur mycologist or, you know, someone that studies trees or insects or whatever. If you've got something like that, then okay. Then, you know, just kind of like don't leave anything that you shouldn't. And just be respectful and go and enjoy. So, all these years, ever since I was a kid, the out of bounds regions, of course, they're the most attractive because there's no idiots there. And you've got the whole place to yourself. Now, what I've discovered about myself, it seems whenever I am in these out of bounds regions, I never ever come upon anybody else. And I'm like, what is so exceptional about me? Why is it that I'm always the only one? Unless I'm with somebody and they're coming into these arenas under my wing, under the security of my confidence. But otherwise people, oh no, it's out of bounds. Okay then, well, let's look at it like this. This is so-called out of bounds. There's signs up that, you know, don't go in there because it's dangerous and this, that and the other. Okay, so I'm in it. And what? if a person from the local council sees me and says, hey, you shouldn't be in here, you know, who's he going to be? I mean, if he's from the Forestry Commission, he's got no jurisdiction over whether I'm in here or not. If it's a local groundskeeper out there, he's got no jurisdiction whether I'm in here or not. Who's got jurisdiction whether I'm in here? People that write these things. And of course you'll never encounter one of those because they never come to these places. They're office bound. So you never encounter those people. And then on the very rare occasion when I do or have encountered gamekeepers, the people that tend the deer and, you know, keep an eye on things, it's their job, they drive around in these little buggies in these national parks, and then they see me in one of these regions and say, you're not supposed to be here, you know. And I go, well, I'm in here and I'm not leaving, you know, anytime soon. So, you know, I bid you a good day. Well, the entrance is, and the exit's over there, you know. I know where the exit is, and I know that I can exit or enter this place in 1,000 other places as well. I don't need you to offer me that advice. And I say, look, no disrespect. You're doing your job, and maybe a small part, a minuscule part of your job specification is, if you see somebody in the outer bounds regions, well, point out to them that they're in the outer bounds forbidden regions. And that's where it ends. They're not police. They don't have any authority or jurisdiction over you at all. So I say, look, I get it, these rules, for the idiots who are going to be dropping all sorts of chocolate and crisp packets and all the rest of it, drinking beer and slinging them and discarding cigarettes, what have you. I'm not doing that. I'm giving this region the greatest of respect. And I say to these people, listen, I was born in these realms. The very first time I came here was in my mother's womb, and I've been coming here ever since. And I've been here thousands of times, and I'm going to come again thousands more times. And you or anybody are not going to prevent me. So let's not get all vexed about it and trying to, you know, exercise the power that you don't have. I don't subscribe to the jurisdiction which you seem to have imposed upon yourself. Are you a police person? Are you a person that has authority to remove people from these realms? No. Why do you not have authority? Because nobody has authority. Why don't you have authority? Why doesn't anybody have authority to remove you? Because it's not a law. It's just a request which they emphasize some sort of beguilement that it is a law. And it says like forbidden to enter or no access, strictly no access. Well, okay, that scares 99% of the population. Great, I'm happy with that, because that means I will never encounter anybody, because I don't want to encounter anybody in these realms. I'm very happy they're just for me. So when I look at that and I go, look, why am I so exceptional? Firstly, I'm here because I love doing it. Secondly, I'm here because I'm not complying with any rules and regulations. Thirdly, I'm here because I'm not afraid. I'm here for lots and lots of reasons. I don't have a job and, you know, there's nothing I would rather be doing, and all these things. So I'm absolutely exceptional. There's only ever been one artist formerly known as the Awakened Brave. And so I'm like, well, if there's anybody realising their godliness, then there's not too many people that realise it more than me. Due to how unique I am, and due to how I'm just not complicit with people's nonsense. And then when they come upon me, and then they'll start to tremble and shake, you know, and I'm like, why are you shaking? That's what I say to them. I say, well, why are you stammering? Why are you stuttering? Why are you looking angry? You know, just because I'm in here, no, you're not supposed to be here. Who do you think you are? Why are you taking the position the self-imposed illusory position of power over me. Who do you think you are? Do you know who I am? You don't know who I am, do you? When you know who I am, then come back and see me. That's what I say to them. I just unnerve them and shake them and rattle them. And then when I'm tired of speaking to them, I just continue without embarking in conversation. If it isn't going anywhere, if they're not getting it, and they're insisting, "Oh, the X's, well, I'm going to stay here until you leave." I'll say, well, great. Enjoy your stay. I'm going to be doing a little bit of foraging and, looking at the bark on trees and just enjoying existing, So why don't you do the same? When I look on YouTube at people who forage, then you see that there's these people that really love it. There's one woman on YouTube, and she's proper educated and she's proper posh. The words that she doesn't know ain't worth fucking knowing. And she's very plain Jane, but she's great. How she describes everything and the words she uses, and she knows all the technical terminologies and all that. And she's just really pleasant to listen to. And she's out in the woods on her own, just geekily looking for fungi. And so there's not many of us. But these so-called rules and regulations, I've never been an adherent to them. Because I've always asked why. And, well, what if I do come in here? What's the penalty? They don't want to talk about that, but if you really press them, what's the penalty? Because sometimes, if there's a penalty, if it's a law, then they say, litter dropping penalty £100. So, if anybody sees you and reports you to an official, and they've got proof that you dropped that litter, then maybe you'll get fined £100. So what's the penalty for being in this out-of-bounds region? Well, it's just kind of like, respect. Well, I'm respecting. I'm very respectful. There's nobody more respectful about these regions than I am. So, okay, then I've ticked that criteria. So, what do you want from me now? You just want to tar me with the same brush as you would anybody else. I'm not everybody else. I'm an individual. And I've just told you why I'm in here. Paying the greatest of respect for the natural environment and thoroughly enjoying all that's here. And I want to leave all that's here exactly like I found it. Save for a few splinters of broken grass and maybe a few bits of fungi that have mysteriously gone missing. So, you guys, those of you that comply, tell me why it is. Those of you that don't, tell me why it is. Why don't you exercise a little bit of your own free will and intelligence? Just write a few things down. Because one of my greatest bones of contention is speaking to fools who don't acknowledge anything I ever say. There's nothing more detestable in my mind than that. Those that engage, I've got respect for. Even if, they're not saying too much. They're having a go, they're engaging, they're participating in the play. And so, I'm curious. Because of my uniqueness, well, why don't you tell me?
Well, you're not as unique as you think, Aaron. I'm one.
Great. Where do you live? Timbuktu, Kazakhstan. Anybody live in Leicestershire? Anybody live in my locality? Are we ever likely to bump into each other? No. You see, these people are far flung. There's a few scattered all over the world. So, it's incredible. It's incomprehensible. But if I was God, then I would have ordered exactly this experience. So this is why I know I'm God. because everything is perfect to me. What could be more perfect than have all of these beautiful, secure and cordoned off natural nature reserves just for me and the natural flora and fauna? Well, a god would request that. I'm coming down to planet Earth in human form, and I want there to be a situation whereby there's cordoned off realms and there's places where are out of bounds for no particular reason. You just put a sign there, and because the people are so stupid and so complicit, then they'll just obey. They'll obey everything, and so that means then you'll never be disturbed. And I'm like, that's it. I've ordered my vacation, and now I'll go and enjoy it. Now, if anybody, any of you out there, are these rule followers,
Oh, rules are for a reason, and it's to protect this and it's to protect that, and if everybody did this and everybody did that...
everybody doesn't do it. Nobody does it except me, the artist. Only the artist does it. And whoever is with me, unless you guys are going to inform me that there's a couple more of us. Where are you in the world? And where do you do it? And what do you say when you come upon people that tell you,
You shouldn't be in here, you know.
what's your rhetoric? You see, whenever I've been with other people, and I go with a couple of people, don't I just say to them, I say, look, here comes the parky. Not being funny, but just let me deal with it. Because what happens is, they will get involved in silly conversation. And it's not necessary to get drawn into these silly conversations. Just state that you're enjoying this place, you're exercising your right, you're going to stay here, have a great day. And that's it, because anything else is completely unnecessary. And then you start trying to defend your position. There's nothing to defend. It's like, you know, someone coming upon you in your back garden and you've got to defend why you're there. You see, with this park where I go very often, Bradgate Park, that park was given to the people of Leicester in about 1828 by a rich landowner. And there was no stipulation as to who can go where and who can't go into certain places. All those impositions have come about in recent times by the regional nature reserve, which that park comes under. It's in a trust. And I go, well, that's fine. And I'm in perfect agreement with you keeping lots of areas out of bounds for the masses, but I think you should allow entrance, even if you just have to apply, and you're not going to need too much of a reason. You're just going to, say that you're a mycologist or a botanist, or, you just like collecting leaves. Simply, that's your hobby, and that's what you want to do. And, impress upon them, I love nature and I'm going to respect it, and this, that, and the other. Okay, there you go, there's your pass. And then if anybody comes upon you, just show them your pass. I'm like, right, cool. And I've actually said this. I said, well, one day I'll go into the office and I'll, speak to them about, is it possible to get a pass? But then if they start imposing upon me, well, we need to see this and we need to see some identification, I'll say, who are you? You're just some clerk that works for the regional trust, and then all of a sudden you're acting like your government and your police. You're not. And so I just thought I would come out of politeness and just to say, look, I've been going to this park all my life and I'm going to continue to go, with your blessings or not. And so rather than your staff being completely humiliated when they come upon me, you might just want to give me a pass, which saves their blushes. Because that's all you'll be doing, saving their blushes. You won't be doing me any favours at all, because I don't need your favours. Anyway, I've got about an hour before it starts to get dusk, and so I'm going to be on my travels, people.